Good evening, and welcome to Drakkenheim. I didn't intend to say that, but when I hear that music, I can't help it. Welcome. This is sort of just a little instructional video that I wanted to film for the Drakkenheim landing menu 1.6 for Pathfinder 2nd edition on Foundry. So I built this module for 5e, and then Hasbro did some things, and my two D&D groups decided to convert to Pathfinder, and actually we haven't looked back. Frankly, I think it's a much better game, which is not a subject we're going to tackle in this video, but food for thought. I've been playing D&D 5e since it came out. I've been playing D&D since like 3rd edition, DMing for about 24 years, and since playing 2nd edition Pathfinder, I've thrown out all of my homebrew. I don't need it. Just out of the box, the game runs great. So if you're on the fence about playing Pathfinder, hopefully something like this will make it a lot easier for you to adjust to in Foundry. So this module, after you follow the instructions, I'll leave them in the description so you can install it yourself. This is what you'll see on the login screen. And it's basically a scene. It's not the actual login. It's just once you go into the world, this is what you get. Press here to continue.
A new hand touches the beacon.
We get a little sound effect. Thank you, Skyrim. You can change the sound effects. You can change the journal entries. You can change where they link to. But a lot of this other stuff is sort of set for good reason, because this is it's just how it works. Characters. You can change these icons. But this is one of the menu options. We've got a few here. We've got journal. And there's a few pages to that journal. We'll get into that later. We get the map. And it's like a God blessed video game, you guys. I spent today making this map sheet with the toggleable icons. Works so well. Factions of Drakkenheim. We've got a sort of reputation meter so that they can track, your players can have a visual on who they're impressing and who they're pissing off. But we'll start with the characters. So these are just using Monk's active tile triggers to, give us an icon, and when you click it, it opens the actor sheet and plays a little book sound effect from Diablo. We get a nice sound effect. We open the sheet. So this is a place for your players to, view their character sheets, prepping for the game, or you can even do it in the game. I mean, you've got the actors tab here. This is really just for style points. You don't need to go to the actors tab if you have it right here. And it's pretty. We get a visual. Journal. So we've got objectives here. These are just pins that I've dragged in from the sort of Monk's enhanced journal. So we got, mission objectives and rewards and whatnot for these quests, these side quests that they have to complete. And personal notes. Again, got the nice little book sound effect. I find giving them a section to put their personal notes and setting up the journal for them, it takes some of the guesswork out. So that, encourages my players. Cecilia here, God bless her, she is just a note writing fiend. You can see there's some question marks here with these sessions. That's sort of around the time we were starting and converting to Pathfinder 2e. So got a little bit hairy in that section here, but we're back up and running with gas now. This second tab is just Dramatis Personae. There's nothing actionable or triggerable on this. It's just sort of a place for players to review important people that are in the campaign, for them to remember and know the correct name spelling. This tab here ships like this, but you can, once they start learning about the world, you can go to tiles, click this one, make it invisible, and hey, it's like, hey, you've unlocked the knowledge by learning these things in the game. Now I'm going to throw it on your journal. We get effects of the meteor. Describes about delirium. You can write more in there if you want. The seals of Drakkenheim and relics of Saint Vitruvio, likewise. I won't click those because we don't want to spoil it too much. I do encourage people to, you know, support the actual creators. I've tried to make this as usable as I can without, you know, spoiling what's in the book. So if you have the book, it's going to be really useful. If you don't, then this isn't going to really play well. And that's as intended. I didn't want to put everything from the book in this freely available module. That would be a complete ripoff. But the map here, this one came from Reddit. If you look up Emberwood isometric map, you'll be able to download the file. I'm so sorry, I forgot the author of this one. I think I actually put it in the battle map file there, so let's review. By Sideway. Thank you, Sideway, for making this amazing isometric map. We love isometric maps, they look so good. I'm using small time and weather effects and small weather as a module here, so we're just going to change the time here. Just a little bit about that. This isn't anything to do with Drakkenheim landing menu, but it's such an amazing setup. I love it. Small time makes sort of gives you controls over time and calendar and seasons, and small weather makes it so that you can choose a real place. In my case, I decided my Drakkenheim was going to be like Warsaw in Poland in the year 2009. Now this pulls from a weather website that has historical weather data from the real world. And, you know, this isn't just made up. This is in Warsaw, Poland in 2009, on the 1st of the 1st, this was the weather that day. And so what small weather does is it connects that with my game time. So when the next day happens in game, you get the weather from the 2nd of the 1st of 2009 in Warsaw. Incredible. What weather effects and small weather and small time do together is weather effects gives you these amazing clouds and snow, and that is automatic. It's applied from the small weather. So basically it all just works. It looks so good. I didn't choose for it to be snowy and cloudy. That's just what the weather is. So if we go to the next day, it might be rainy or something else. So good. And if we want to make it dark, well then we've got some lights set up in here. It looks really pretty. Chapel of St. Ardena. Yeah, just a few key locations lit up, except of course for Eventide Manor because nobody goes there. It's dark and spooky. We got the map. We'll flick back to it. We got Drakkenheim. Now this, I've set it up so that the key here that shows how far the distance is, these hexes on this hex map are accurate. So if you want to go half a mile, it's actually half a mile. This is all to scale accurately. I run this for 2 groups, so I have 2 little icons here, and I just make one invisible if I'm not running with that group at the time. And you can delete this white drawing around here. My players couldn't see the walls so clearly, so I just outlined it really quick and dirty. And just real quick, finally, we'll go to the Factions tab. So the Factions tab, this is just sort of a way for you to view the faction reputation that the players sort of accrue in the game from doing missions, pissing off the factions by killing their members, whatever shenanigans they get up to. You'll know that the book sort of has an outline for how they can be indifferent, friendly, or champions, or and different enemies or nemesis, I think it is. There's a few different ones in there that they could possibly be. And so when you get the landing menu module, they'll all be sort of in the middle, like this one here. But these are tiles. All of these are actually just tiles, you know. So if you double click them, you can go in there and change them to blue if they're doing really well. And then if they do amazingly well, you might want to change the little icon too. So you get this little flash. So now these icons, if you choose this one, you'll notice the size is different. So you have to change. This one here is just 1:1. But if you select one of the flashy ones and go update, it'll be really small. So you need to actually change this to 2.6 so it scales it up a little bit. And likewise the same for the enemy ones. You get a nice red bar because they've killed a lot of Silver Order Knights or something like that. So yeah, just real simple. So that's basically it. We've got the factions, we've got the map, switchable, the journal, and you can fill, you know, I've made it sort of pretty generic so you can fill that with whatever you want to by just dropping pins into the objectives tab here. And the characters page, these are icons as well. So I've included a few different variants of these. So you can mix it up. You could shrink them down if you have 8 players. Yep, go ahead and put them in there. These sort of emoji, I drew them because I'm an artist. That's what I do. So these are all from me to you. Carte blanche, totally free. Go ahead and use them if they match anything in your campaign. These ones are my group. I drew their characters for this. But you know, if you don't want to use a little emoji and you want something that looks a little bit more in fitting with the lore, you can go ahead and use something else. So this, where is the... Oh, I'm getting confused here. We got character sus human. Ah, that's why. It's because I'm viewing it from there. So if you wanted to, yeah, we've got some icons here in the Drakkenheim UI assets main menu. We got basically fighter, you know, monk, paladin, a bunch of ones. So you could, if you want, just make the little player icon here one of those babies. But I'm stupid. I like silly things, so I drew little emojis. If you want them, commission me. I'd love to paint your character in whatever fashion that you want them painted in. And that's basically it. So that's how this thing works. Please go ahead and drop a line in the comments if you've installed this into your world, and you know, let me know what your players think. Mine were blown away. I've made this like a video game as much as I can, super high quality and useful, but limited in scope because I don't want to just keep adding so much to it that it gets crazy, because this is just Foundry after all. Most of the time we're using it for battle maps, not for tooling around in the menu. So it's really just to make the campaign extra special. Dungeons of Drakkenheim is really special to me. I run 2 groups with it. In my opinion, it's the finest adventure out for 5th edition today. And the community has been so great in supplying content. The DMs just are so generous with sharing of their time and ideas. And so this was just my me doing my bit. This is something that I created and it's free for you to use. Go ahead and check the description. You can download it there. I've got a full set of instructions. Hopefully it all makes sense, but let me know if you get stuck or if anything doesn't quite click. About the only sort of thing that occasionally happens is one of these might decide to stay toggled on. It doesn't really happen for me anymore, but sometimes if you have a bit of lag, especially if you click between maps very quickly, Monk's active tiles can just leave it toggled on. So that's about the only bit of troubleshooting. Very occasionally you'll need to just toggle that back invisible. Otherwise it works a real treat, and I hope that you enjoy it. So that's all from me. Take care and roll some nat 20s. What can I say? Cheers.